School District's Digital Literacy and Learning Specialist, and I am your 7th webinar of the day as we celebrate our digital PD party here at MPS. You can follow along on social media with hashtag MPSWC. And if you want more information about the day, you can go to tinyurl.com/DLDMPS19. So my topic today is Hype Up Learning and Communication, and I'm going to be talking about HyperDocs and HyperSlides. So a HyperDoc is an interactive Google Doc or slide deck that puts the power in the hands of the consumer. So it's basically a file that has resources linked throughout, maybe even like an interactive component for activities if you're using it with students. And I have some examples that I'd like to show you of HyperDocs. So the first example is from a 5th grade class. This person is teaching about coding and robots and geometry. And as you can see, not only is it aesthetically really attractive, but there's also links throughout to different resources, and there's even interactive activities. They can use Google Drawings to edit these 3D shapes and more. There's videos, so it's an entire interactive document. The next example I have for you is G Suite Bingo. This is a training tool. Basically, you can do all of the activities on here and cross them out using Google Drawings or inserting lines. So the people who are in the training actually can go through and keep track of what they're doing. So that's an example of like one we would use for PD. And my next example is the Crucible. So probably like a high school English language arts class. And this is an interactive presentation. There's, again, links throughout. You can see it says click to learn more about whatever topic they're looking at. And there's, of course, videos attached as well. And there's even like some assessments in this one too. So those are just 3 examples of how teachers use HyperDocs. But HyperDocs and HyperSlides aren't just awesome in the classroom. They're great for organizing information to communicate with staff, parents, the community, and basically the entire world. You can basically put all of the information that stakeholders want and need in one place. So let me show you some examples of those too. If you went to that link I told you about in the beginning of the day, tinyurl.com/DLDMPS19, it would have taken you here. This is a Google Doc, and this has links. You can tell they're links because they're blue and underlined. So I can click throughout here. If I click on this one, it will take me to the Digital Learning Day website. So that's a resource that's linked to it. Here's a table, and each one of these links takes me to a different YouTube link. So I can click on this one, and I can watch Dr. Moore's presentation from earlier. And there's more as well. So if I scroll down, there's even more. So this is an example of a HyperDoc. Another example of a HyperDoc that's not for students, but for adults would be like, here's last year's Staff Development Day program that we organized. So this one, we actually have links to other documents as well. So this entire doc was shared with the elementary teachers. It has a picture, map in it of the school that it was at, and there's links throughout. So this was not a webinar day. We had actual presentations, and we asked the people who were presenting to give us their resources. So everyone could just click here and get all of the resources for the entire day. Every presenter shared this with us. As you can see, now their resources are here. So for example, here is, I can click there and open something else. So they're all linked. It's kind of just like a simple website, which you can give very direct information. Yeah, I'm a big fan. So again, those are just a couple examples of HyperDocs used with staff. So let me show you how to do some of these really cool features. So first things first, I'm going to just create a Google Doc instead of a Google slide, but you're welcome to do that as well. So I'm going to go to New and Google Doc, and I will make my document and call it Intro to Theater. Let's say I'm using this HyperDoc to teach students about theater. So from here, I'm going to insert a table. Now, you don't have to make yours super fancy. It's just something I like to do. So to do that, I can just go to Insert, Table, and I can say I want it to be 2 columns, however many columns, I can change it that way. You can always adjust it later. So I will make it a table with just 2 columns. And here I can say I want to put the link, and then maybe I'll give them an assignment. So the first thing I want to do is I will plug in, how about let's do a video. So I have this YouTube video already up, and it is about drama in the classroom. So I'm going to copy this link. So highlight it and copy it, Control C. and then come back here, and I can just paste it here like that, but that's not really helpful. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to get very fancy, and I'm going to snip a little picture of this. So I'm going to use my snipping tool and just take a picture of the screen. Oops. I'll take a picture of like the video screen, because you actually can't embed a video in a Google Doc. You can in a Google Slide, but there is an extension, or I'm sorry, an add-on called DocUtube where I believe you can do that. I'm just not super familiar with it, so I don't want to confuse you. So I'm going to paste that picture here. Now I'll go back to the video, and now I'll go ahead and copy that link. Copy. And to add a hyperlink, I'm just going to right-click on the picture and choose Link. And now I'll paste my link right here and apply. So now if someone clicks on this picture, they'll be able to go to that link. Watch the video and discuss with your neighbor. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a picture. So I'm going to go to Insert an Image. You can pull them from your computer. Maybe you have something saved in Google Photos. Maybe you have a URL to it, or you have something in your Drive. I'm just going to search the web, and I'll type theater, see how my Google search comes up right there. I'm just going to go ahead and plug in a picture, insert. And now I have that picture here too. So I'm going to say, I'll go ahead and copy this website to something else. And to link that, just like I did with that little YouTube snippet, I can just right-click, link, and paste. Read about the show. And buy me a ticket. So the next thing I would like to do is maybe add a hyperlink to a document that's something I already own in Google. So I'm going to say class syllabus. So to do that, let's say that this is my syllabus, just for pretend. I'm going to click the share button. And now I usually keep all of my stuff that I share as resources as anyone on the internet can find and view. But if you wanted to change it and make it so just certain people could, you could do that as well. So if you click on this, you can say anyone in Millville Public Schools with a link can comment, view, or edit. Obviously, if you don't want them to change anything, you probably should keep it on can view. Now, keep in mind, if you choose anyone at MPS, that's only people who are actually logged in with their Google MPS account. So if they're at home and they're not logged in and they don't know how to log in, they won't be able to access it. That includes both students and staff. So like I said, I usually keep it on anyone on the internet can find and view. And then I just copy that link. Now I'm going to come back to my little table, and I'm going to highlight the text, right click and click link. And then I can paste it here. I can also change the text too. Once I click apply, you'll see it becomes an active link, and I have that ready to go. So the next thing I want to show you is bookmarks. We can add bookmarks to our document so that people can jump to different areas of the page. So let's pretend that I made this amazing table and it ends all the way down here. So someone could just scroll to go right up to the top of the page, or maybe I want them to go back to the first video. So I'm going to make this first little video. I'll add a bookmark right here. So I highlight what I want to bookmark, and then I go to Insert and choose Bookmark. And now that little blue flag tells me that that's a bookmark. So I'm going to come down here and highlight what I wanted to link it to. I can highlight, right-click and link again. And now do you see where it says Bookmarks? I can click that little arrow, and then here's my little bookmark in the doc. So I can click that and apply. Now when someone clicks on this, it will take them up there. So that's how we add a bookmark. Now something else you might want to do, if you actually use, this is a very simple example, but I mentioned before, sometimes we do this with kids where they can do activities throughout. So maybe I want, read about the show and type your review. Maybe I want my students to type something here, read and ask questions. Like maybe I want them to actually interact with this HyperDoc. If I wanted them to do that, I can't give kids the same exact document because then they'll all be editing the same exact thing and that would be a disaster. It'd be a ton of kids messing up with one document. It'd be insane. So instead, if I was using Google Classroom, which I believe Lauren is showing shortly, you can do make a copy for each student. But if you don't use Google Classroom, if you go to the top, the URL that you're working with, where it says edit, I can highlight that in backspace and then type the word copy. Now I can take this URL and I can give this link to someone. And if they go to that URL /copy, just kidding, it didn't work. It's unable to open the file this time. I have no idea why. But it basically must be a connectivity issue. But if you add /copy to a file, it automatically forces them to copy a file. Let's see if I can get this one to do it. So you do have to make sure that link sharing is open, which I believe it is. I might be having internet trouble right now, but I promise you it works. You've seen it on my other trainings as well. I apologize for that. So that's how we force a copy. Now, you probably saw me quickly go ahead and go through and share a link. I just want to show you guys some simple ways to share a link. I stressed before, when you go to share, whether you're sharing a file or a folder, from here, remember, you want to customize it. So for me, if it's something I want parents and students to see, I would do anyone on the internet can find and view. If it's something just for staff, maybe that has information unique to staff, I would probably just do anyone with a MPS login. Like I said, that means people have to be logged in order to do it. So you want to be careful with that. Now, when I copy this link, I obviously can't give people this entire long link. I can't give people this entire long link because then they're not going to type that in, basically. So usually what we do is we use URL shorteners. So you can use the Google one, which is goo.gl. If you go there, you can just paste your really long link and click shorten URL. And now if somebody types this in, it'll direct them to that document. Or another thing we do a lot, which I'm sure you've noticed, is we use tinyurl.com. I can paste the long link right here, and I can give it a little nickname, Discepola hype, and make tinyurl. Now, if somebody types in tinyurl.com /Discepola hype, it will automatically bring them to that doc that I just shared with you. A few more things just for aesthetics. If I wanted to change the look of it, I can go highlight, like let's say I highlight this row. Here's my little paint can. I can change the color. I can change the text color. I love fonts. So the reason I love Google so much is because, well, not the reason, but one of the many reasons is that I can add a ton of different fonts. So where we have Arial right here, I can go to more fonts and go through here and add as many as I want. I'm going to go ahead and change this font so it's cuter because that's important, right? So I can change the font size. I could have merged rows. I could do whatever I want with that. Yeah, so that's basically how we can make interactive files and slides and everything, sheets even, within Google. So a few more things before I let you go and enjoy the last 5 webinars of the day. If you are just tuning in, please go to tinyurl.com /DLDMPS19. tinyurl.com /DLDMPS19. This is where we have our entire program for the day already set up for you. This is actually a YouTube playlist, so you could actually just go here and watch the recordings at any time if you're not tuning in live. So here's a playlist of all of the webinars that are being hosted today from different people throughout the district. The other thing I wanted to talk about is our EdTech website. If you go to tinyurl.com /MPS EdTech, we are obviously hosting this digital day of learning, but we have plenty of other things to offer as well. If you go to learning opportunities, this is where we list our upcoming workshops and webinars. We have things that are in the district. We have things that are outside of the district, but they're always free because we love free. And then we have things that are ongoing. So for example, recorded webinars we've done, self-paced courses we've designed. Additionally, if you go to EdTech Tuesday, that has all of our tips that we've been putting together for the last 3 years. We send every week to MPS staff. And there's even a little form where you can submit if you have something you want to request. So maybe there's something you want to learn about, please let us know. It's totally anonymous, no judgment. We'd love to help you. If you have any questions about this, please feel free to reach out. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to learning with you.